Everyone aboard the diplomatic star station Alios Spire knew the rule. Never go near her. They didn't need to say her name. The moment the warning passed from mouth to mouth, a chill followed it, like static crawling across the skin. Even hardened mercenaries lowered their voices. Even veteran diplomats avoided a certain section of the Grand Concourse. Because that was where the alien queen walked. Queen Aethera of the Carven Ascendancy. To humans, she was a nightmare wrapped in beauty. Towering, silver-skinned, her presence alone caused instinctive fear. Her species had once ruled half a spiral arm before voluntarily withdrawing from galactic politics after a war so devastating that its records were sealed by mutual agreement. Since then, the Carven Queen appeared only rarely. And when she did, entire systems adjusted their orbits around her will. I was just a human logistics officer. No rank worth mentioning. No political power. No reason, at all, to cross her path. And yet, somehow, she chose to sit beside me. It happened on the 4th day of negotiations. The Alios Spire was built like a floating city, its central hall a massive amphitheater of glass and light where species from 1,000 worlds gathered to negotiate trade, ceasefires, and fragile alliances. The seating was arranged by power, influence, and threat assessment. I was assigned to the lowest human tier, far from the center, near the auxiliary delegation rows. A place where mistakes went unnoticed and survival depended on staying invisible. That was my plan. I was reviewing supply projections on my datapad when the noise level shifted. Conversations died mid-sentence. Even the air seemed to tighten. I looked up. Queen Aethera had entered the hall. She moved without guards. She didn't need them. Her long ceremonial armor flowed like liquid metal, etched with symbols older than humanity's written history. Her eyes, golden and luminous, swept the room with detached awareness. I immediately looked back down. Never go near her, they'd said. Never make eye contact. Never draw attention. Then the impossible happened. Her steps changed direction. I felt it before I saw it, an inexplicable pressure, like gravity bending. A shadow fell across my datapad. Slowly, reluctantly, I looked up. Queen Aethera was standing directly in front of me. Up close, she was even more overwhelming. Not just physically, but emotionally. Her presence carried a weight that pressed against the mind, ancient and immeasurable. I stood, heart pounding. Your Majesty, I said, managing a respectful bow. She studied me. Not like a predator. Not like a ruler assessing a subject. Like a person, trying to understand something unexpected. Then, without a word, she turned and sat down. Beside me. The sound of silence roared. Hundreds of eyes snapped toward us. I could feel the collective shock ripple through the hall. Carven delegates stiffened in alarm. Human ambassadors looked like they'd just watched a moon crack in half. My internal systems went into full panic. She's not supposed to sit there. She's not supposed to sit with me. I remained perfectly still, afraid that even breathing too loudly might be interpreted as an offense punishable by extinction. For several long moments, she said nothing. Then, softly, she spoke. You are not afraid. I swallowed. I am, Your Majesty. Yet you did not flee. I didn't know that was an option. That earned something I had never seen reported in any intelligence brief. Amusement. Her lips curved slightly. Most species scramble away the moment I approach. Their fear is loud. I glanced forward, forcing myself not to stare. Humans are used to sitting next to things that scare us. Why? She asked. I thought about it. About our history. Our wars. our nightmares, our stubborn refusal to back away from the impossible. Because sometimes, I said carefully, the only way to survive is to stay. She turned her head, studying me again. This time, there was no pressure, just curiosity. The negotiations began. Voices echoed through the hall, but I barely heard them. I was acutely aware of the queen beside me, of how her presence no longer felt crushing, but warm. Focused. After a while, she spoke again. They warned you about me. Yes. What did they say? I hesitated. Honesty felt dangerous, but somehow, I sensed she valued it. They said never to go near you. Her gaze hardened. And yet you came near me. Silence stretched between us. Finally, she said, do you know why they fear me? Because you're powerful. That is not the reason, she said quietly. They fear me because I see them. I frowned slightly. When I look at most beings, she continued, I see ambition, greed, deception. Even reverence hides desire. You were thinking about cargo routes. Heat crept into my face. I had a deadline. That strange, rare smile returned. You treated my presence as incidental, she said. That is unusual. The session ended in chaos shortly after. Delegates filed out, whispering furiously. I began to stand, desperate to escape before someone accused me of triggering an interstellar incident. Ethera placed a hand on the armrest. Stay. It wasn't a command. It was a request. I sat back down. When the hall finally emptied, she stood and faced me fully. My advisors will be furious, she said. They believe isolation preserves strength. And do you? She looked out through the glass dome at the stars beyond. I have ruled for 3 centuries, she said. I have commanded fleets, ended wars, and buried civilizations. Yet today was the first time in decades that I chose where to sit, rather than where I was expected to. I didn't know what to say. So I didn't say anything. She inclined her head slightly. You may accompany me during the remainder of the summit. My heart skipped. As what, exactly? She considered that. An anchor, she said. A reminder. A reminder of what? That even queens, she said softly, are allowed to choose. The days that followed changed everything. Whispers turned into rumors. Rumors into outrage. Why was the Carven queen always seen beside a human? Why did she listen when he spoke? Why did she laugh? Because I didn't want anything from her. I didn't kneel. I didn't bargain. I didn't fear her. I treated her like someone who had been alone for far too long. On the final day, as the summit concluded successfully for the first time in a century, she stood before the gathered delegates. The Carven Ascendancy will rejoin the Galactic Council, she announced. Gasps filled the hall. She continued, her voice steady and unyielding. Not because we are weak, but because strength does not diminish when shared. Her eyes met mine across the chamber. And because even those they warn you never to approach may simply be waiting for someone willing to sit beside them. Later, as the stars shifted outside the viewport, she joined me once more. This is not the end, she said. I smiled. I didn't think it was. She Saturday. And this time, no one dared tell her where she belonged.